Okay, here we are. It's been a long time since the last movement in getting my handgun registered in the district, but now Mr. Sykes is open for business. He actually has my handgun in his office. I have my paperwork from the police department here. He'll stamp it with his approval, I believe. Then I got to take it back to the police department, get their approval, pass the test, bring it back to him, and I get my handgun as I understand it. Interestingly enough, just got off the phone with a local handgun museum who says that they very much want to have this handgun to put on display because of the historic nature, being one of the first guns to be registered in the District of Columbia. So that will be how the gun ends up. But right now, I'm off to meet with Mr. Sykes. He's told me that he wants to do this privately. He's not allowing cameras or recordings inside his office. He has several concerns on that level. So I'm going to go in by myself. Hopefully when I come out, I'll have more of my paperwork that I need, and then it's off to police headquarters. Okay, well, I really am one step closer, a major step closer. I saw my handgun for the first time in more than 2 months because Mr. Sykes has it in his possession now, so the gun is actually inside the District of Columbia. That's a major hurdle. And I have my paperwork for the police department filled out by the federal firearms dealer, Mr. Sykes, on his side. I filled out my portion. Now I take this down to police headquarters, I take my test, I get fingerprinted, and then when my fingerprint comes back as a clean background check, the police department will stamp this approved. This becomes my registration. I bring it back here to Mr. Sykes' office, where he will then hand over my handgun to me, and that'll be the end of the transaction. Here we are at police headquarters downtown. This is where it all started, where I first picked up my packet of paperwork, registration paperwork, several months ago. Now we're back here so I can hand in my registration form, get fingerprinted, take my test, and then we'll see what the next step is after that. Cameras are not allowed in here either, so you're going to have to wait out here and wish me luck on the tests. And I guess the criminal background check. I think I'm okay there. Be right back. Okay, so I'm out of police headquarters now, and again, one step closer to actually having the handgun. I took the test. You'll be happy to know I did pass the test. I got one question wrong, distinguishing between a sawed-off shotgun and a short-barreled rifle. I got that wrong. I will say the test, it's 20 questions. You're allowed to get 5 wrong. It was a little harder than I thought it was. There were a couple of questions on there that I don't know that were actually in the packet about the date of when a gun is actually considered an antique, things like that, what you're supposed to do with a gun, safe storage with a gun. A lot of very common sense questions on there as well about the safety of how to use a gun. So I passed the test. I paid $48, which paid for my fingerprinting and other parts of the process. I was fingerprinted. Now I wait because the fingerprints need to go and be checked for my criminal background clearance. That will take at least until Friday or maybe next Monday. So I was told to call back on Friday or Monday, see if that's in. If it is, then I come back here to police headquarters, get my registration stamped and approved by them, take it back to Mr. Sykes, get the handgun, bring the handgun back here again to police headquarters where they take a sample round. So they fire the weapon and take a ballistics match on that, and then I have the handgun. They did answer a few questions for me inside. Once I do own a gun, once you do own a handgun in the district, you are allowed to transport it across state lines to go to a shooting range and to use it, since there are no shooting ranges here in the district. And as far as buying ammunition, I'll have to do that out of state as well, since there's nowhere in the district that I can buy ammunition for the handgun. But to do that, I always need to bring my registration certificate with me. So it's not as easy as one might think. There are a lot of regulations to follow, and we're just one step closer to actually having that handgun. But things were really well oiled. They're fully staffed. They did say they're getting a flow of people in. As a matter of fact, the gentleman who was at Mr. Sykes' office just an hour ago when I was there, he just showed up here to do his paperwork. One thing that I did not know is that one of the forms that I have to bring back, I actually have to have that notarized. I had the form, I had it filled out, I didn't have it notarized. So they gave me a new copy, which I'll fill out in front of a notary, have that notarized, get 2 passport-sized photos that I bring back with me, and $12 for the ballistics test and the handgun. when that all comes about. But right now, we wait for the criminal background check to come back and keep our fingers crossed.